would like to talk about destiny, would like to share their ideas about destiny.
My my understanding is what I am now, if I don't change it, goes in a very predictable direction
Mm.
with my wounds, with my triggers, with my story and my narrative
Mm.
goes in a very clear and predictable direction, and this is destiny for me,
Mm.
as I understand it.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Any other idea of destiny? I'll tell you why we are talking about destiny. But before that, any ideas about destiny?
Something that is already written, it's bound to happen.
Okay. Yeah. So, how do you relate to that?
I don't.
So so there's a saying which they attribute to the Buddha, but maybe the Buddha never said it. The events happen, deeds are done, but there is no individual doer. So destiny has a function in the sense that if we believe there's destiny, there's something which is unfolding, then there is less onus, there is less of a stress on the individual doer, that I am the doer, I am the feeler, I am the creator of my problems. This immense importance to the I is undermined. And that's what happens in non duality. This I gets suppressed in a way, gets challenged in a way. So initially there will be some kind of struggle, fight. Something will just come up, even though what this guy here talks will just be sounding like bullshit, right? And then suddenly something happens emotionally, something gets triggered, some weird irritation can happen for some people, and then after that there is some kind of relaxation. So I was talking about this Advaita teacher, I went to him and he said, no, meditation will not help, bhakti will not help, chanting will not help, reading Advaita will not help. So I'm like, what the hell will happen then? Then I went silent for 30 minutes. I couldn't say anything because my mind stopped. So eventually that stopping happens. And in Zen, we talk about the head, the heart, and the hara, three centers, right? Head is the intellectual thought thing, heart is emotional, and hara is the centering, the amalgamation, integration. So tomorrow we have a workshop on hara, how to center into the hara, because that is the Zen approach. That is more of a interesting approach to center ourselves. So the head, the heart, the hara. And the head thinks, I am the manager, I am deciding everything. And the concept of destiny gives a sense of less control. It gives a sense of flow. So events happen, deeds are done, but there is no individual doer. So unfolding will happen. So when people would come to Ramesh Balsekar and they would ask, okay, so what should we do now in the any given situation? So in any given situation, he would say, if you have two choices, that means both the choices are valid. That's why you have two choices. If one choice was very bad, you would get rid of it. One option was bad, you would already get rid of it. So both the options are good enough. So you apply, you ask friends, you do whatever method you want, and you decide. And he said, if you cannot decide anything, then you flip a coin and let that take the decision. So In the given moment, we have the free will to make a decision. But what will be the outcome of that decision is entirely unpredictable. That is not up to us, that is up to destiny. So, someone goes to an excellent university and becomes successful, and another person goes to an excellent university, becomes a addict or becomes lost in some way. So, that cannot be decided. And what we see as good today, like for example, I am caught up in some addiction, and I say, oh, my situation is so bad, I'm caught up in this addiction, I'm so terrible, I'm a terrible person. But eventually that process leads me to spirituality, and then eventually I'm happy. After going through that challenge, I'm happy. And then I say, oh, because that happened in my life, because that man left me, because that woman left me, now I'm much stronger, I understood something, and I am living a better life. So the event was the same, whether it was the breakup or addiction or any shitty thing that happened. But at one point you said it was bad, and another point you say it is good. So the event in itself, the content of the event in itself did not have anything good or bad. But the meaning was given to it by the head. The head gave it some meaning, the heart felt something. And then that changed over a period of time. The story of our own life told by our family is different from what is told by our friends. And what each of our friends says has a different story about us. And the story I have about myself is completely different from what all of them think. Hence, all these stories, we use the term stories that we tell ourselves, tell about others, they are all appearances. It's just creativity. It's the play of Shakti. Okay, I go and tell my story, I sit at Raku, I have this intense conversation with an unknown traveler, complete stranger, and I'm telling my story. And I can be creative in that story. I am creative. Because the same story, let's say I'm telling the story of my heartbreak, my love affair, my heartbreak that happened. The same story, the other person who is my partner, ex-partner, will not tell the same story about the same event. so that story is not valid. This story is also not valid. But in the moment when we relate it to someone, it is valid. And then we hire therapists to listen to that story. Then we have friends who have to listen to that story when they sit with us for a drink. So there is this entire play of different stories. And eventually, it's just a play. Things are just unfolding, things are just playing out. So, given a situation in this moment, yes, there is free will to choose, but what that choice will lead to, we do not know. And in this situation, we are free to do anything, whether it is legal, illegal. But if we do something illegal, the society has more of a right to punish us, to give us the consequences. So there are social consequences, there are moral consequences, there are dependency consequences. You are dependent on someone and you say something bad to him, then you will have a consequence, right? You will have to beg for money, you will have to do something else. So there are social consequences, moral consequences, legal consequences for any given action. But you are free to do any kind of action in this moment. But the outcome is not up to you. The outcome is not in your hands. So the whole work is on seeing that this is not the doer. This is, I am not this, I am not that, I am not that, which is struggling. I am not that, which is creating these stories. And then what are we left with? There's some kind of resting, relaxation, So by every workshop, by the time this stage comes, there is one person who's almost lying down, resting, relaxing. Some other people have become more relaxed, they relax in their posture. So this happens in every workshop. And then eventually, if you keep coming for these workshops, you will be completely at rest. So there'll be more and more lying down people, relaxing, because something is easing out, Okay, now we can relax. We don't have to keep our spine straight. Just relax, easy. So this message helps us to travel lighter, and this message doesn't add anything. So we call it neti neti. Not this, not that, not the body, not the mind, okay, not even soul. Then what is it? So it's like peeling the layers of an onion. You go on peeling the layers, what remains? And there is a traveling lighter, there is an ease, and of course the action figure keeps doing on things. He can be more creative because he doesn't have the burden of every action leading to some kind of result. Every action does not have to give us some kind of result. He can enjoy whatever action it is. Right? So this is a message for traveling lighter. It is like a drug which once it enters your system, it will keep doing its work. So I don't remember when it entered my system, but when it enters, very idea of, oh, I am looking at something, this came into my life, I don't know, in the story maybe, when I was 17 or 18 years old. That I am seeing myself doing things. I am seeing others doing things. Who is this looker, watcher inside? And this drug will do its work. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe after 5 years, maybe after 10 years. So time is irrelevant, but it is a pill which will always do its work. And it will have some side effects, reactions in the system, which are fine, which is natural. And if there is a triggering, if there is a relaxation, all of those things are good signs. Yeah. Okay, so thank you guys. Any questions? Yeah, please.
Do you give online individual sessions?
Online. Yeah. Online individual, we can talk. Yes. You're going back? Yeah. Online individual, also group sessions. Yeah. Not when I'm here, but when I go back. Yeah. Individual sessions. The idea is to keep seeing, through these different exercises. So if you're going home and if you like to do some homework, then you can check out. There are so many teachers on non-duality, but for these seeing exercises, you can check out the work of Douglas Harding. He was an army major, came from Britain to India during Second World War, went to the Himalayas, and he had certain experiences out of which he created these weird exercises, which are very interesting and they do something inside. So check out Douglas Harding, and then there are so many other teachers on non-duality you'll find. And whoever you resonate with, satsang is like the dinner, you keep going for dinner, you enjoy the dinner, and then you eventually something flips, and somehow this bone structure, body structure becomes more relaxed, more easy with time. Yeah. So satsang is the process. We call this process of talking about this. It's not just talking, but it's a message which will enter your system and do its work.
Now, what is your path in this, and what helped you to be more lighter? How is it?
This message helped me, satsang. We call it satsang.
Because satsang is also like being in one's mind, like in one state. So you are someone influence you, and you are like in a cloud, someone's cloud. But then you live your life, and it's like you need to pass your experience. It can't be done by satsang. You can't it's just, you know, like a kind of, for me, it's good, yeah, but it's satsang is for me like a kind of drug still. Like, oh, after satsang I feel better. Okay, no troubles. But I didn't go my way. I didn't, you know, I need to experience it my way, otherwise it's just like drug dealer. Of course, it's better than drugs and it gives more, but still for me it's not enough.
Yeah. So I had this question: how can I meditate while I'm doing everything? How can I carry it throughout? You know. So for that, again, you know, it is to see it. You know, this what satsang does is it tunes you to the idea of personal and impersonal. So when you are taking something personally, you start seeing it more easily. Because in satsang, you are told the reverse of what you were always told. You were always told you are this identity, now you have to give this exam, now you have to give this interview, now you have to impress this guy with this identity. And satsang tells you the reverse. So in that sense, it's a deconditioning. It's a relaxing. So that, and then eventually in your day-to-day life, when you're more aware that I am the space in which things are happening, and then, you know, it's just a matter of awareness. And eventually I think for me, the way it happened was maybe 7 years, 8 years, I was listening to satsang. And then suddenly I felt that, you know, any practice that I do, like trying to meditate, trying to push, is not necessary. To drop that seeking, drop the seeking for any kind of result. And then only satsang remained. And I was much happier than before because I was not trying to get something from my practice. And I was also happy being angry, happy being, you know, I was okay with being angry, being naturally sad sometimes. I was okay with many of those states. So what satsang will bring you, and non-duality will bring you, is okayness with most of the things that happen. And when you are not creating a problem out of your sadness, out of your loneliness, it's no longer going to bother you. So it's not about me doing something. I think it's grace, and whether it is a satsang of talking about non-duality, whether it is kirtan, whether it is music, a good musical performance, be it jazz, be it rock, it is not the guy here who is doing it. It's something flowing through and doing its work. It's not this figure which is talking. It's something which has to flow through to you. It is meant to flow to you. So this is only a medium. The musician is only a medium. But then something divine plays, and then everyone is like, you know. So that is.
So for me, on the way to this enlightenment state, it's like there are a lot of, you know, things. It's like trying to drive a car by using YouTube. So you always get caught in some situations because you are not experienced.
Yeah.
And even after some retreats, I can get depressed or whatever, because
that's natural.
Losing your personality is not that.
Yeah, that's part, because you will not lose all your samskaras by doing retreats. Samskaras will be there, they will do their work. This is Floyd. He has a certain behavior. It is going to act out in the world. That's not going to change. But as I said in the beginning, the wet dream of every spiritual seeker is to stabilize a condition. They want to stabilize. Now I'm in this state. Now I should never get affected by anything. And there is a should. So there is a seeking for something. So when we drop the seeking, we say, okay, fine, you know, I do a retreat, I enjoy it. I meet nice people, I do some practices. And when I'm not doing a retreat, I get angry, I get triggered, I do many things. But that anger trigger is not your whole life. It's few moments of your life. But the whole idea is the spiritual seeker, the identity of the spiritual seeker will require that, oh, I should be calm all the time. I'm the yogini who came to India, so I should be calm all the time. How is it possible to be calm all the time? I've visited more than 200 spiritual gurus in India. And none of them are calm all the time. None of them are relaxed all the time. None of them are free from lust all the time. It's part of life. Life will play its thing. And in Zen we say the most extraordinary thing is to be ordinary. Not necessary, like to become some kind of siddha, have some siddhi, have some attainment that, oh, I'm always calm. Then there is this yogi who can stand on one foot. Then there is another yogi who can keep one hand up in the Kumbh Mela. So these are all attainments for the ego. They are not for the being. And being is okay. Being a drunkard, being is okay. Being a guru, being is okay. Being is okay. Selling alcohol, being is okay. Driving a car, being is okay with everything. Being is not that activity. So these are all, like conditions imposed by the world. That, oh, if you are a being, you will be like this. Then Anna will be with a straight spine all the time. She'll listen to satsang with a straight spine. She will not lie down. So these are all the stories in the spiritual circle. First we had stories in the world, now we have stories in the spiritual circle. They are still stories. And what we are is beyond all the stories. Neti neti, negation of all the stories. And if Anna feels nice lying down in the sun, that's fine. Being is happy with that. She doesn't have to force herself to straighten the spine. Okay, thank you guys. See you. Thank you for coming. Thank you. See you.